Hello everyone, it's Shanna. Now today we're going to be making a 3-pocket memory keeper like this. Now it's going to look similar to it but different. So I am bringing in some Spellbinders product, new product that I have. I have got the Cherish This better press plate in which you can press some sentiments out, and you've got some frames that you can lay them on, and you can press basically 2 of the press plates and then die cut them all out together. And then I've got the My Life in Pictures die there, and we've got the kind of like the picture strip there, and we've got the smile and the shadow and a heart and stars when we use it. And I'm using this 3-pocket memory keeper from Polly's Paper Studio. I just watched her video and I jotted down all of the measurements that she had listed in the video, and I actually put this sheet together. I thought you could snap a picture of it and get it. And I have assembled and cut and scored most things. I've got the first pocket here that is to be 5 by 8, and you're going to score it at half, 1 inch, 1.5, 6.5, 7, and 7.5. And all 3 pockets will be scored exactly the same. So I'm scoring at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 6.5, 7, and 7.5. And that's our scoring. And this is our largest pocket. I'm calling it Pocket 1. We started with a 5 by 8 sheet of paper, and now we're just going to do our folding. So we're just going to fold in, fold out, fold in. And I'm using the bone folder to give it a good crisp edge on there and try and keep it as nice and neat and straight as I can. And you're doing the exact same thing on this other. It's going to create kind of an accordion style pocket fold there. And so we've got our first pocket assembled, scored. So what I'm going to do now is bring in some double-sided tape. And this is how Polly from Polly's Paper Studio recommended doing it. I have watched several of her videos. I've been watching her since fall. She did some really fun Halloween pockets, and she does a lot of layering. And she uses like some material flowers and stuff. I'm going to use, paper, because normally we work with dyes and stuff like that. So I'm going to use that. But I would encourage you to check out her channel. But that's where I got the inspiration for this from. Now, she does tell you that if it feels like it's going to buckle any on there, you're going to need to cut it down. And I noticed it did, and so I cut it down. And so that way it won't buckle when you go to attach it. Now, she recommends a 2 adhesive combo is what she calls it. And you use the double-sided tape and then some glue. And so I'm just going to kind of do that, because this is the first time I've made one of these. Actually, this is the second time, because I made the one that I showed you on the intro of the video first. I was kind of making it as I was watching her, and I would stop and make what she, how along the way as she was making it. I've got that. It needs to go long way up and down. And I'm just going to tuck this in, and I'm going to fold my little fold over. And I'm making sure that my pattern paper is on the inside. This is actually the back of the pocket. And so I only have single-sided paper. I think she had double-sided in her video, but I got that laid down in there. And now we're ready to move on to the second pocket. Now the second pocket is, it's going to be 4 by 8. You can actually zoom in on the video and take a picture. It's going to be a 4 by 8 panel, and then you score it exactly like you scored the first panel. I'll run through those scores. I've already got it. The scores are 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, 6.5 inch, 7 inch, and 7.5. It's the same scoring on all 3 pockets. And you're creating that fold. Now, the coordinating pattern paper for this particular pocket is 5 inches by 5 inches. And I think I snipped a little bit off of it as well. The pink is going to be the front side, so you're going to have these tags and things on the back side. Some of my paper was double-sided and some of it was not. So we've got that, and that is our pocket too, and that's how it's going to connect to this. And I'm just checking my lineup. I really shouldn't have a white edge around it. I don't know what I did wrong, but I've got a little bit of a white edge, but that's fine, and I don't mind. Now I'm moving on to pocket 3. It is 3 inches by 8 inches, and then again you score up half, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, 6.5 inches, 7 inches, and 7.5, and then you've got your accordion fold there. And I'm just going to take my 3 inch by 8 inch panel, and I'm going to tuck it in there just like I did the other ones. And you're probably wondering how our pockets work since they don't have bottoms on them. We are going to have a base layer that we're going to use next. And so these are my 3 pockets, and I just need to get them adhered together. And you can see we've got all the pretty patterned paper. I've got a lot of this Just Saying paper, and the Simple Stories vintage paper. And so I thought these projects would be great to kind of blow up some of that paper. And so that's what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to adhere them together. And she uses the same tape and glue combo to adhere them, just to make sure you get a good adhesion. And I think she probably puts a lot more tape on there than what I have here, but I think it's sufficient. Excuse me. I didn't have any dinner tonight because we went out to lunch, and then there's a new donut place in town there where we were shopping, and they were giving away a free donut to everybody that came in. So we went in and got a donut, and we decided to buy some because they were so fresh and so delicious. And I didn't have dinner tonight, and so I had a second donut, which I probably shouldn't have. But now here I'm showing you, I've got a little white edge along there. And I don't think I'm necessarily supposed to have, but it doesn't matter. You can do it however you want. But anywho, so now I'm going to lay the 3rd pocket on here, and we'll do the same thing. We're going to get the double-sided tape and the glue out. She actually put the double-sided tape on the back of the pattern paper is how she did it, but you know, you can do it however you want. And I always like to burnish the tape down before I go to pull it off, because sometimes if you don't, you'll pull the tape right up with it. And then I'm just going to add the glue, and we'll get this laid down on there. And so now we've got 3 pockets for our memory keeper. So you can see it doesn't have a bottom on it. So we're going to bring in the base layer. The base layer is going to be 9.5 inches by 5 inches. And then you're going to score it at 6 and 6.5. And that way you'll have an area for the bottom of it. And I've done the same thing with the tape. Now I'm just kind of doing a dry fit here, just double checking it, making sure I've got it how I want it. And I'm thinking that I'm checking my measurements, and I think I'm going to take a sliver off of it because I think I got a sliver too much on there. So I'll just go over to my guillotine and take that off. And now we're ready to just peel this backer off, and we'll get this attached to our 3 pockets. So I'll just bring my pockets in and carefully line them up. Then I realized I hadn't put any glue on the back of it, so I had to bring in my glue and get it on there so that we'd have good adhesion. And we'll get it lined back up and get it laid down on here. And now we're ready to just pull that forward for the front of our card. And this will create the bottom of our folder so that, of our pockets, so that our cards won't fall out or whatever we choose to put in here. We're going to make the 3 cards that go in here, but you could certainly put additional items in here, tags or different things that you want to put in there. So we've got that, and you can see we've got a little bit of an opening there on the side, so you have room to put stuff in. Now this is my layering paper, and the layering paper, the back is going to be 6 inches by 5 inches, and then the front is going to be 3 inches by 5 inches. And what I'm doing here is, Polly had suggested that you put a ribbon on here to kind of keep it from, you know, kind of, I don't know, falling falling over, kind of hold your cards up so that if you get a lot of stuff in there, it'll kind of help add some additional support to it. So I'm going to just do that. And you can put your ribbon on the outside or the inside of your pattern paper, however you choose to do it. I'm going to put it on the inside. We're going to have a lot of stuff to adorn our backside with. Now, I'll encourage you not to get it too tight because you want to be able to have room to stuff stuff in. You just want to have a little bit of give there, but enough to kind of support it and stabilize it. I'll loosen mine up after I get it laid down on here because I realize that I have it really just a little too tight. And so I think a couple times will loosen it up, and this is just for stability, I think. And I'm just using some of that double-sided tape to adhere it together. Of course, we're going to lay pattern paper and glue on it as well. Okay, and now I'm ready to lay my pattern paper down on the front. And it is 3 inches by 5 inches. And I'm going to bring in that double-sided tape again. And you could use glue and or tape, either one. You don't necessarily need to use both. Whatever you think will be enough to secure it. You know, we make cards all the time where we just use glue, and we don't use glue and double-sided tape, but you can just choose to do whatever you want. So it's her, this was her make that I was inspired by, so I thought I'd just kind of follow her process. I'm trying to get this lined up here even, and so now I'm going to put my pattern paper on the back, and my back pattern paper is 6 inches by 5 inches. I'm just kind of reiterating some of these sizes in case you guys decide to try and make this yourself. But certainly take and snap a picture of that paper there, and you'll have her measurements. Those were the measurements that she gave. Now on my cards that I'm going to insert, I did take some liberties with the pattern paper sizing and made some larger borders along there. She does some 7/8 and 3/8, and I think I did some quarters. So I've got to get this laid down on there right, and I realized I didn't put glue on there, and it did tear a little bit, but it's not going to matter. We're going to have it all covered up, and we're just going to get this laid down on the back side of our base layer. And so it'll be decorated. And I had to trim off a little bit on there. And we've basically got our 3 pockets completed. So now we just need to do our 3 cards. So there are 3 different cards, 3 different sizes from largest to small. And I'm pulling out the largest one. We're going to do it first. So card 1 is 11 inches by 4 inches, and you score at 5.5. So you'll essentially have a card that is 4 by 5.5. Now she recommends trimming your pattern paper to 5 3/8 by 3 7/8. This is where I think I did 3 3/4 by 5 is what I did, so that I had a bigger, I did that just solely because I had these pieces of paper here already cut from the previous 3 pocket memory keeper that I made, and I thought rather than waste it, I would just use those on here. And so that's why my measurements aren't exactly like the measurements that are on this paper I typed up, because I was using scraps. So I'm going to pop up this ephemera. With this, just saying said, I have all kinds of ephemera and stickers and all kinds of stuff, and so I'm just going to be pulling that stuff and bringing it in. So I'm just going to tuck that in my first pocket, and it's going to just peek out the top a little bit, and then we're going to go on to our second card. This second card is going to be 9 inches by 4 inches, and then you're going to score at 4.5. So you're going to have a little card that's 4 by 4.5 is what you're going to have. And I'm bringing in some of that butterfly pattern paper, and I think it's very pretty. And this one, the pattern paper she recommends 4 3/8 by 3 7/8. And I've got a tag here that I'm going to use. And I couldn't find my other hole punch, so I just used the one that came with that Q-Fun laminator that I got the other day. I'm just trimming the edges of this up, and we're going to just kind of angle this on our card 2. And we'll bring in some bits and pieces to embellish it as well. And I've got some ribbon here, and I'm going to put it, since we've got a tag and a tag hole, I'm just going to feed it through there. And then we'll tie a little knot on it, and we'll get it laid down on our card too. This, I made 2 of these, so I was in the craft room for quite a while this evening. Well, first of all, I watched her video and was trying to jot down things, and then I tried to get some things ready, and I went back and watched it again so that I could kind of follow along with her and create and just make sure I didn't miss anything. But I think I got everything written down on that sheet of paper, pretty much what she had. She just did like text. She popped up the measurements on the video. And so I tried to get them all written down. So now I'm just looking at my sentiments here that we've got. These are the Cherish This Better Press sentiments. And I'm just looking at those. Since it's going to be a memory keeper album, I thought it would be perfect to put some of the sentiments in there from that. And so for this one, we're going to use Cherish This. And I'm also going to use one of the hearts that comes with the My Life in Pictures die set. And so we'll just kind of angle that across our tag. And I'm just looking for some embellishments. And I think this is when I just grabbed the heart from the die set, and I'm going to use it on this particular tag. And we'll just tuck it in there. And I think it looks cute. Very simple. You could add a lot more, but I'm just kind of, we've got a lot going on here. So I'm just going to tuck that one in. And now we're ready to make our card 3, which is our smallest one. So this panel, you would start out with a 7" by 4", and you're going to score at let me see, 3.5. Sorry. I think that I don't know why I have 3 7/8 down there. Anyway, but you score at 3.5, and we're just going to get it on there. And for this one, I took that pink paper and I used the scribbled words embossing folder and added some texture to it. And I think that really looks pretty on here. So I'll link all the materials in the description box below so you can check them out. But I'm going to use some more of the ephemera that was included. And I've had fussy cut out from the pattern paper, one of the butterflies. And I'm just going to put some foam tape on here, pop it up, get it laid down. And then we will be done. Actually, I'm going to grab a sentiment too. And then we'll be done with our card 3 that goes in here. For this particular card, I am going to use another one of the Better Press sentiments, and I'm going to choose the one that says Memories, and I'm going to lay it down on the backer piece, and we'll use it on this particular card. And it'll just bring that teal, just kind of bring some more of that teal in. And so we'll get that laid down on our card, and we'll get it tucked into the front pocket. And now we're going to embellish the front of our memory keeper. Now I did die cut out 2 of the frames from the My Life in Pictures die set, and I layered them together so that I would have a pretty sturdy frame. And it's going to hang off a little bit. I'll struggle a little bit getting it to glue down. I didn't get enough glue on there. So I'll do some pressing and I'll add some more glue to it. And then I'll just cut off whatever's hanging over my little pocket. Just get it laid down on there. Now this is where your big Tim Holtz scissors come in handy, and we'll just snip it right off where it's hanging over. And that'll take care of that. So now we need to put some fun stuff on here. I'm going to add some more glue, and I had done some die cutting ahead of time. The last 2 days I've been working with this flower. I need to look and see what it's called. I think I put it up already. Let me look. Let's see. It is called the Colorful Expressions Bloom. And I used some teal cardstock and some pink, and then I die cut out some leaves, and I'm just going to make a big old flower and just do some tucking and we'll move it around on there too. I'm going to use some foam to lay it down, and I will actually, to try and get my other sentiments to fit, I'll have to move it around. So I'm just going to attach my leaves to the back of my flower, which I'm glad I did. A lot of times I might glue them to the paper, but since I moved this around, I was really glad that I had just attached my leaves to my flower so I could just move the whole thing as a whole. And since I used the foam tape, it made it easy for me to pick it up and move it as I needed to. So I glued my leaves down, and I'll put some foam tape over it. And then I'll stick it down, and then I realized that I've got to move this because I need room for my smile sentiment that I showed you in the beginning of the video. And I'm hard-pressed. I can't get it laid down over that flower. And so that's why I'll wind up, after I fiddle, turn, and try to figure out how I'm going to make it work, I just pick up the flower, move it, and then position my smile, and then put the flower back down. But it takes me a good minute to figure out that that's what I need to do. I'm thinking, can I put it over here? And I'm still messing around with it. And then I just decide, just pick that flower up, Shanna, and move it. That made sense. Why did it take me so long to think of that? I don't know. Anyway, so we'll get the smile laid down here. And I'm trying to decide, do I want it up high? Do I want it down low? But I'm going to put it down low. And we'll get it laid down on here. Now for that smile, when I die cut that out, I did put double-sided adhesive on the back of it before I die cut it out, because the teal portion of it is teeny tiny. So it was very helpful to have the sticky on the back of it. So I've got my smile down, and now I've got my floral tucked in there. And I'm going to bring in another one of those sentiments, and I'm going to use the Good Times, and I'm going to pop it up on here. First, I think I'm going to glue it straight down, but then I realized if I add some foam tape, it'll lay a lot nicer on there. So I'll bring in some of that narrow foam tape, and we'll get it laid down there. And this is super cute. And like I said, if you haven't checked out Polly's Paper Studio, I would suggest you check it out. She's very creative, and she does a lot of pocket folio type things. And she's very good at clustering. So check her out. So here is my finished 3-pocket memory keeper. And I've got my 3 cards, my butterfly, my tag, and then my panel card. And I'm just going to tuck them all back in there. And this was a really fun project. Now you could decorate the insides of these as well if you want to. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.